Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Rome for this weekend's E-Prix. I am joined here by my partner, Aaron, as we are getting set for qualifying here in Rome. Aaron, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good. Looking forward to an exciting qualifying and race today.
Definitely, I think we're in for a good one today. It's going to be an excellent session with lots of great drivers. Let's go ahead and walk you through how qualifying works for Formula E. Aaron, take it away.
So qualifying is set into 4 different groups, each with about 6 to 5 drivers in each group to even it out. Each group will have about 10 minutes. I'm not sure the exact time. I do not have the stat right now. And they will have 5 minutes, to set their best time. Once the top 10 drivers with the best time then go into a super pole. Top 6, go into a super pole and try set up the fastest lap they can.
And with that, it's important to note that the Super Pole is worth 3 extra points to your driver's championship. So every driver is going to be trying to get that top time. And as there are 5 minutes in each session, the drivers only have a minimum amount of time to get ready to get their fastest lap possible. So every lap counts in qualifying here. Walking through who's going to be out here for Group 1, we are going to have Sonic, Kaikira, Lenore, Project User, Lord Plains, and Cole. And we'll go ahead and let you know their specific teams when we jump on board with each, as we walk you through how they're doing for the 6 minutes they have to set their quick time. And with that, the cars are out on the track. Let's go ahead and get ready to jump on board with one of these drivers today. And now, as the cars begin to take the track, we're going to go ahead and jump on board with Sonic and the Geox, who this weekend, their team's going to be looking for good points, as they have only 20 points on the year or so, and they are sitting in 10th in the championship. Not what they wanted this year.
And an update on Lenore. He is not taking part today, so Bono YT has now taken his place.
And Sonic had a bit of a touch with the wall there, coming through the hairpin now. Looks like they are on the outlaps right now. Definitely not going to help his confidence. His confidence is one of the most important things in any form of racing, and especially in qualifying, because you need the confidence with the car that you can set a quick.
He is definitely struggling around the track right now, as he's hitting most of the walls he sees.
Definitely, he's not having a good session so far to start off. His session has not started well. Now he's going to be coming through, getting close to the finish line as he's approaching. Looks like he's approaching turn 5 right now, actually. And we'll go ahead and stay on board with Sonic for his flyers, see how it goes. Project currently leading in this group with a 107.9, but from what the times we saw in practice yesterday, that's probably not going to get Super Pole. To ensure you get Super Pole, you're looking for a 102 to a 103 here around Rome, were the quickest times we were seeing yesterday. The quickest time was a 101 or a sub 102.
It was a 101.3, I believe. Set by Stengstan, who will definitely be competing for pole against most likely Dakar today.
And as Sonic's not having the best lap so far, going through turns 20 the turns 16 through 20 now, we'll go ahead and jump on board with Project for the Audi, taking over as potentially that second main driver. We interviewed him yesterday. Sounds like he's definitely pushing to get that second spot alongside Dakar, who is leading the championship, as Audi will be looking to also win the Constructors' Championship. Can Project do that for them? We'll see how he does in the session. As Project has currently set a 107.9 in the session, but Sonic has the quickest time in this group with 107.0. Still not the quickest times we're needing, as Project's now coming through turns 16 through 20.
And collides with the wall there as well, which will definitely ruin his time.
That'd be
Kira goes fastest.
Kakira with a 103.6 now. That's the quickest time out of this group, and that is one of the quicker times overall. That time will definitely be that can be fighting for SWAT and Super Bowl today, as we'll jump on board with Kakira for the Nissan team. Nissan sitting P2 in the championship. They're going to be looking for some good points this weekend, as they're hoping Kakira can put on a good show for them. As their other driver, I believe it was TDM, was actually having a really good session yesterday.
I believe TDM was no longer with Nissan.
Oh yeah, my
apologies.
I think TDM was with Geox. Yeah. I have similar cars, thinking. But Kakira now having not the best lap following that 103. Seems like he's a little tense with it. As coming through Sector 1 now, we'll see if it has a quicker time than his pass. His pass Sector 1 time on the quicker lap is a 23.4, as this is a 23.6. And now Sonic with a 104.0 closing in on the quicker time, and Project has a 106.1.
Kakira goes fastest in the second sector compared to Sonic, which is a 2-second faster sector.
Definitely, and Bono not having a good session at all right now. 2:09 is his current time. He'll be definitely trying to get a quick lap. As there are 30 seconds only remaining in this group, so the drivers will have time for one more lap, potentially, depending on where they start. So we'll go ahead and jump on board Bono for the Mahindra team, as not having a good lap. So it looks like out of this session, Kakira is going to come out quickest out of this group. We'll see if any of the other drivers later on can beat that, which I do believe will likely happen, as there were some really quick times yesterday.
We will likely see Sengstan, Dakar, and possibly ahead Kenny Benny. He set a good time yesterday.
It does not appear Dakar is here today once more, as he wasn't at practice either. It'll be interesting to see if he can turn out to this race or not.
Luckily for him, oh no, never mind. He is in the second group, so he would not have long.
Definitely. As it looks like Bono's quickest time is now 110.4, as the first group of this qualifying session here in the glorious city of Rome has expired for the time, so the drivers will be forced to return to the garage, or to the pit lane. As now we'll just come back to the studio. After that qualifying group, how do you think that went for them, Aaron?
I don't think they got the best out of themselves. Kakira might be with a competitive time, but from what we've seen yesterday, it might not get into the Super Poles, as a 102 was lucky for them to get.
So out of the first qualifying group here in Rome, Kakira for Nissan sets a 103.2, quickest out of the group, followed by Sonic with a 104.0, followed by Project User in the Audi with a 105.5, and then lastly, Bono for Mahindra with a 107.1. Not the best.
But did improve on his time.
They all set fairly competitive times compared to what we saw yesterday. All times will be within the top 12 drivers, which is a decent decent little bit for them. Kakira could challenge for a Super Pole shootout position. However, I do not think with the times we saw yesterday that's going to happen. So now we'll go ahead and take a look at who we'll be seeing in Group 2. Why don't you tell us who that's going to be, Eric?
So in Group 2, Wacky Jackie, Jonatier, possibly Dakar, JG, Riley, and Herdman, but in chat it says he might be replaced by IDK, or otherwise known as I Don't Know You 2017.
Interesting group of drivers we have there. Might be some of those drivers might be able to get quicker times than we saw with the first group. So as they get ready to go, we'll see who can just take that super pole position. In that super pole position, the importance of those 3 points towards the championship cannot be understated. If you're fighting for P1 or P2 in the championship, those 3 points can go a long way for you. So all these drivers will definitely be wanting to get those extra 3 points to their name.
Right now, the competition is for P2 among quite a few drivers. So it's a close battle there, but that's where they'll need the points to come into effect.
Definitely. As now we wait for Group 2 to get underway, we'll take a short break and come back to you in a moment. Here in Rome for our qualifying session, followed by the race later today. As we are now getting ready for qualifying Group 2 in here in Rome, as the drivers are just about to take to the track for their 6 minutes to set a quick time here around the beautiful Rome City Circuit. And Aaron, why don't you walk us through the track real quick as have a quick minute between the groups.
So there's a total of 21 turns in the Rome track, with 3 long straights, which will allow for good competitive races on them. And the slipstream will be very effective there. It also has the shape of an F1 engine, an F1 cockpit, which is quite interesting design.
Interesting design indeed. One sector of note where a lot of time can be gained or lost is Sector 3, as it's a very tight turns 16 through 21 with a double chicane followed by another chicane of turns 20 and 21. very tight section right there that a lot of time could be lost if you don't get it right. As the cars are now taking to the track for their hot laps, as the timer has started, we'll go ahead and jump on board with Riley in the other Mahindra. His teammate setting not a competitive time, relatively speaking, in the session with a 107.1, as an Audi in front of him had a spin up.
It seems that Horizon has took his seat back as the car could not make it to the race and qualifying.
Interesting to see, as we were informed that he was going to retire from driving before this weekend. However, it seems he may be driving this weekend because of Dakar's absence, as the Audi team tries to get as many points as they can to their name to continue their great run of the Drivers' Championship. As Riley driving for the Mahindra in the championship, he currently sits in way down in looks like he's not even listed on our Drivers' Championship standings. However, doesn't seem like he's had the best season, so I'm sure the Mahindra driver will be looking for a good time here in to prove to the team that he is a driver that they can trust.
I will continue looking for Riley while you commentate. I have a list here, but there's 55 drivers on it.
Long list indeed, as many drivers here are potentially driving in the season, as a lot of teams use reserve drivers at some points.
So it seems that this is Riley's first race, and he's currently sitting 33rd in the standings.
Riley now sets a 104.6. Sticky Boy sets a 103.3, sitting second overall now. As Vandert sets a 107.0, not the best time. And Horizon sets a 108.3, not what the Audi driver is looking for. As we'll go ahead and jump on board with Stiggy Boy for the Neo Formula E team.
It's quite interesting. I don't remember him being in the practice session yesterday, and he's setting very competitive times.
He was not in the practice session. It'll be interesting to see how he can learn the track and set competitive times here in the session, as it looks like the Mahindra is. So he should be getting a little bit of slipstream in the straights if he can stay close to them. As the Mahindra must have had a little bit of a touch with the wall as he slowed down, and Stiggy Boy passes. Stiggy Boy that lap setting a 103.369, so just slower than his fastest time.
The Mahindra might have been doing some strategy there, as he now. Oh, I was going to say he would get the slipstream.
We'll go ahead and jump on with Van Dirk in the other Neo Formula E car, which once more he was not at practice yesterday. Interesting to see just how the Neos do in this session, as the two Neos are now following each other, looking to give each other the slipstream. As Van Dirk is now ahead of his teammate, giving him the slipstream right now. As they come through, going on to the start straight now, going through the chicanes of turn 11 and 12, coming to the hairpin of turn 13, looking for a good lap today. As Van Dirk has a bit of a touch with the wall there, that's unfortunate. And his teammate gets past once more. As there is 1 minute and 40 seconds remaining in Group 2, Sticky Boy still leads this group in the times. Kaikira leading overall with a 103.2.
I don't know, he's setting a very uncompetitive time compared to other drivers right now.
Definitely. As we jump on board with Horizon now of the Audi. Interesting story this weekend he is having, as he reportedly retired and now is driving once more, as their main driver Dakar is currently not here. Interesting weekend Audi is having, not what they would have wanted.
That will be good points in the championship for ahead Kenny Benny, as he might be competing for the win today, which will bring him much closer to Dakar and possibly take over Horizon in the championship.
let's not rule out Sang, who had a great session yesterday, though it does not look like he has showed up yet today. So hopefully he can show up and get his team good points. As Horizon currently sitting last overall of the times with a 107.5. I'm sure the league owner and Audi reserve must not be happy with that. As he was an Audi main, but like we said, he informed us that he was retiring, so
I suppose it was a last-minute decision from the Audi principal to take the seat.
definitely, as he improves to a 107.2 on that lap, still last overall. As Riley improved to a 103.4, sitting in third, with Sonic a 104.0 in fourth. I don't know you with a 104.5 in P5, so those 5 drivers have a chance at Super Pole, but once more, I don't think they're going to be getting it as time expires for Group 2. So now, Group 2 expiring, we'll jump back to the studio when that group, a little bit more competitive than the first group. However, still not the times we were seeing in practice yesterday. Wonder if the track's a bit cold today and the tires just aren't getting the grip. As the quickest times we were seeing yesterday were in the 102s and the 101s. So maybe it's the pressure getting to the drivers. Maybe it's just the short amount of time to get the laps. Not sure what's going on down there, but 103.2 by Kakira in the Nissan is still the quickest time overall.
I
Not
believe it
what
would be
we expect.
I believe it would be the pressure that's getting to them. In 5 minutes, it's tough to set a perfect lap.
Definitely,
But
that pressure cannot be understated, as 5 minutes to set a very quick lap is not easy, especially when that lap is just when a fast lap being about a minute and 3 seconds, you don't have much room for error there.
especially, he'd be looking for at least 2 seconds an improvement on his time, which is possible, as we've seen yesterday with Sangstar.
Definitely. And now, while we're waiting for Group 3 to get underway, we're going to go ahead and take a look at just the standings once more. See how. Taking a look at the Constructors' Championship right now. Audi sits in first place with 247 points, led by their driver Decare. Great season they've had. Not sure if anyone's going to be able to catch them. Then you have Nissan sitting in P2 with a 148. Their drivers having a very solid season for the team. We'll see what they can do today, especially with Dakar not being here, which is a shock for us. Then in third is BMW Andretti with 94 points, most of those coming from main driver Kenny, who has had a very good season, might be competing for the win today. Then in fourth is Panasonic Jaguar Racing with 69 points in the championship, having a very solid season, followed closely by the Neo Formula E team with 68 points. The Neo drivers both here today, Stiggy Boy doing very well, Van Dirk's not as well, but setting a decently competitive time compared to the other times that have been set. So Neo might have some good points this weekend and push up in the Constructors' Championship. And then that Neo is followed by Venturi, who has 67 points, 1 point behind Neo. Very close gap between positions 4 and really 8 or 9 in the championship, only about a 10-point spread. Very competitive season that's going on in the Constructors' Championship. As you can see the rest of the points there.
I believe HWA have not came into this session. I haven't seen their cars in practice or in the qualifying groups yet, but
I believe
I do not know what to
HWA
expect.
is slotted to be in the latter 2 groups here. As we'll go ahead and take a look about who will be driving in Group 3 today. We will have Tebaz, Sang, Love My Jordy, Super Legend, and Shot. Sang driving for, I believe, the Nissan team, Jordy for Envision, Super Legend, and Shot. I believe Shot is a reserve driver for one of the teams. And Tebas, we believe we saw him last week, had a decent race in Eindhoven, or 3 weeks ago. So, interesting Group 3 we're going to have. As in Group 4 will be Kenny, who is one of the drivers besides Sang, who I think could be on for the win today here. And we're just waiting on the drivers to take the track for Group 3 here in Rome. Interesting session we've had to this point, and the Rome E-Prix shaping up to be a good one with the absence of some notable drivers here.
I believe we may go on to an onboard with Sengstam when they go out, as he was fastest yesterday, and it would be good to see competitive lap time from him.
We'll definitely take a look at Sang when they take the track here in Rome. As they are just getting prepared to get underway here for the third qualifying group in Rome. Good session we've had to this point, and it can only get better from here, as time's not what we expected to see based off yesterday, but still very competitive, very close between all the drivers right now. Only 4 seconds between the first place and the last place driver of the times currently set, which compared to the spread we've seen in other sessions, that's not a bad spread.
Especially in Eindhoven, as someone was lapped 7 times just off sheer pace, which was not really at all a competitive race for that person.
We definitely hope we see a better race from the sense of competitive here in Eindhoven, or not Eindhoven, Rome, compared to Eindhoven, which we did not see a very competitive race, unfortunately. So as we just wait for the drivers to take the track, it'll be an interesting the track for qualifying in Rome for their 6 minutes here in just a moment. As one thing that's also important to note is any drivers that did not attend practice yesterday, that is not going to help them, as it looks like we are going green now here in Rome for the third qualifying. The drivers who didn't make practice, they're not going to have the track knowledge as those who did. So the time comparison, as we can see, some of the drivers who weren't here yesterday, such as Van Dert, Bono, and Horizon, not setting the best times.
It seems like Sengstam is having a bit of trouble with his car in the pit lane. It doesn't seem to want to accelerate. This might be... his car seems to accelerate by itself.
Interesting that is going on there, as we'll go ahead and jump on board saying.
Yes, he has fixed it now. It's good.
As Say now taking the track, glad to see his car has been fixed. After the issue, it looks like he'll be looking for a spot in super pole position today.
And I'm sure we can see that from him. The sheer pace yesterday was just consistent all the way through, with little mistakes being made.
Definitely, as mistakes are the number one thing that can kill your time, and we hope the drivers aren't making many of them. So it looks like I'm having some technical difficulties right now, trying to figure that out. So Aaron will take over the commentary for just a moment.
That is fine by me. As we see Sengstam going for his hot lap now. Takes quite a close line to the apex, but doesn't go too close, as it is easy to get stuck in the barriers somehow. Takes a close line through the straight. Well, not really straight, but you get what I mean. Close line to the apex. Once again. Doesn't have the slipstream, which might affect his lap time, but with his sheer pace through the corners, it might be good.
As I fix the technical difficulties, saying now for the Nissan team having a very good session yesterday. We'll see what he can do today. Setting a very competitive Sector 1 so far with a 23.3, with a Sector 2 of 15.4, one of the quickest Sector 2s we've seen. Looks like he's on for first place in this preliminary session before Super Pole right now.
He seems to be 2 seconds faster, at least, in both of the first sectors. Takes a nice line through Sector 3.
And he crosses the line in P1 with a 101.3. Excellent lap from Zayn. And I'm sure the Nissan team will be happy with that, as he probably won't even need to do another lap at this point, since I don't think anyone is going to be able to match that time.
He could probably sit down, have a nice ice cream, and still no one would get near the time from the
I'm sure he'll stay on
performance
the track,
yesterday.
though, and just keep the knowledge before the race here in a couple of hours. As let's go ahead and jump on board Love My Jordy for the Envision team, as he had a little bit of a touch with the wall at turn 13. And coming through now, having not the session he would hope for. As taking a look at this group, Sang's the quickest out of this group, followed by Super Legend, and then Love My Jordy crossing the line in a 105.5, third quickest into the group. And then Shot with a 118, not a good time for him.
Shot going through the turn 16, 17.
As Jordy coming through turn...
Oh, and he spins before the end of the line.
And Jordy coming through coming up to turn 9. And Scott and the other Vision not having the session he would hope for. As Super Legend and the Tachita having a fairly solid session. As right now, overall in qualifying, the drivers that would be making Super Bowl shootout would be Sang, Kakira, Sticky Boy, Riley, I Don't Know You, and would be the ones making Super Bowl shootout at this point. So we'll see if anyone else can get into that top 6, or if that will be the top 6 competing for Super Bowl position, as Scott has a big spin there, not helping his time at all. He has a 118, not improving at all. Looks like he might be last in the session, way off the pace.
He'll have only one more chance to get in a good lap before the session ends.
And there's 1 minute remaining in the third group here of qualifying in Rome. Decent session to this point, fairly competitive if you take away Scott's 118. It's nice to see that the spread is not too far. As Sang should be coming well away in first in this session, and likely getting Super Pole later on today, as it looks like he's been way on the pace this.
Shot seems very off the pace as he hits most of the walls he comes across. Just looking at his onboard here myself.
I do not think Scott will be able to get points today. However, I think the rest of the drivers overall are looking fairly competitive. It looks like we're going to have a good race here.
It seems that if the 107% rule was in this, Shot would definitely not be making the cut, as he's been having trouble.
As the session time expires, Sang does not improve his lap time, but finishes with a 101.3, quickest overall, quickest of this session. Great job for the Nissan driver that's doing well. As in the rest of the session, Super Legend in the Tachita, setting a 104.0. Decent time for him. Actually, and Super Legend improves his time to a 103.8. Good for him. And that puts him into P6, which right now puts him in the Super Pole position shootout. However, I'm not sure that time is going to be safe. And then Jordy sets a 105.0 for the Envision Virgin Racing team in P8 overall, as his teammate Scott sets a 110.7. So he improved his time, but still sitting 13th overall in this session, last of qualifying. So very good session we saw for that group, as first overall driver took place in that. As we'll cut back to the studio, waiting for Group 4 to get underway here in Rome, the final group before Super Pole shootout. And this session going bad as we expected yesterday, very competitive, but not the times we expected yesterday. So right now, at this point, I would say staying for the Nissan team is safe in the Super Pole shootout in a just a few moments. Well, Group 4 and then the Super Pole shootout. And then Kakira with a 103.2. I think that's a pretty safe time for him, but depending on how the next group does, I'm not so certain. Then in third, Sticky Boy with the 103.3 for the Neo Formula E team. Very good time. Sure, Neo would love to see him fighting for Super Pole. In fourth, Riley with a 103.4. Not the best time for him. Followed by I Don't Know You with a 103.6. And then rounding out who could make the Super Pole shootout is Super Legend in the Tachito with a 103.8. Those 6 drivers are the only ones with time set who have a chance at making Super Pole at this point. We will see just who in Group 4 could potentially nag that Super Pole shootout spot. As in Group 4, we will have ahead Kenny Benny in the BMW team, as well as Fictional, Choco, and CJ, rounded out with Super Funny Max in Group 4. Kenny is a driver I think could make the Super Pole shootouts. What about you, Aaron? Who's another driver in there we could see in Super Pole?
Looking at the driver standings here, Super Funny Max has been putting up a good fight throughout the season, so I believe it'll be between him and Kenny Benny in this group to get into that top 6.
And who knows, maybe both of them could get into the top 6 before the session is. As Super Legend for the Tachita and I Don't Know You are 2 drivers who could potentially be at risk of making at risk for their spot currently in the Super Pole shootout, with some quick drivers coming up in Group 4.
Interesting that no other drivers have made it into the 102s yet, even though I think about 7 did yesterday.
Interesting it is indeed, as we will see an HWA driver in CJ coming up. HWA yet to score points. He'll be hoping for a good session. As the other HWA driver, Tabaz, who was supposed to be in Group 3, did not make it. So HWA will be hoping for a good time from CJ. As the drivers are getting prepared to take the track for Group 4, we're about to get underway for the final initial qualifying session of Rome before we go into the wonderful Super Pole shootout, where we'll just go ahead and tell you now how Super Pole is going to work. In Super Pole, each driver that takes place, the top 6 of these 4 sessions, those top 6 drivers will each go out one by one to set 1 lap, and the quickest driver overall of those 6 will gain the Super Pole position and 3 extra points to their name in the Drivers' Championship. So we could see some changes throughout the top 6 following that Super Pole shootout. We're excited for that in a moment. But first, we're getting ready for Group 4 of qualifying in Rome.
We also have another competitor in this group, Smelly_Mange, is now taking part in this Group 4 session.
Interesting for that is he will be driving for the Panasonic Jaguar Racing team, sitting in P4 in the Constructors Championship. They'll be hoping for a good result from him, as the drivers are taking the track for Group 4 of this qualifying sessions in Rome. As there are 5 minutes on the clock now. So let's go ahead and jump on board with TDM Fan in the Geox, having a really good practice session yesterday. We'll see what he can do, as I think TDM Fan is another driver who could nab a spot in Super Pole after an incredible session from him yesterday, as he is following the Tachita of Chocolate Banana. Fun name you've got there. As TDM Fan is going to be looking for a great lap today. He has the Panasonic of Smelly not doing so well. And they're all following, this pack is following the the Venturi of Super Funny Max, having a decent season so far. We'll see what he can do in this session. As they're coming through turns 6 now, going up to turn 9, this hard left-hander. As TDM does not get past the cheetah there, has a bit of a touch with the wall. Looked like he was going to make the over.
Might save his place for the next lap if he believes that that damaged his lap enough.
Definitely, as there are only 4 minutes remaining in this Group 4. Let's go ahead and jump on board Kenny in the BMW, who's had a very good season, which he might be looking for a very good time here around Rome to get him into Super Pole. As so far out of this group, Super Funny Max sets a 105.5, Chocolate Banana and the Cheetah sets a 104.4, and Kenny crossing the line sets a 103.9, not his quickest time. We saw a 102 from him yesterday. I'm sure he'll be looking to get close to that. As TDM fan in the Geox setting a 106.9, he knows he can go quicker than that.
That wall collide was probably a big effect on his time. Probably let off after the
Definitely, as we'll stay on board Kenny for this hot lap, and then we'll go ahead and jump on board with one of the other drivers, as CJ in the HWA last overall in this session with a 116.3, as Mange has not set a time for the Panasonic racing team.
Oh yes, Mange is now on track. That's good.
Going through turn 14, 15 now for Maine. As Kenny having a very good lap and does not improve upon his time. So we'll jump on board CJ of the HWA, who is going to be looking for a good lap to help his team potentially get some points. Touches the wall there, not good for him. 2 minutes remaining in Group 4.
I had Kenny Benny struggled in around turn 17, 18 as he hit the wall and started to go slow, which probably would have affected his time largely.
As TDM fan for the Geox improved his time, he's sitting on a 103.9 now, close to Kenny, separated by 600ths, those two right now. Very close between them. Can either of them break into the Super Pole shootout? We will find out. As less than 2 minutes remain for these drivers to set quick lap.
TDM fan goes into 6th place, removing Super Legend from the Super Pole.
And Kenny now into Super Pole shootout 103.5. So Super Legend, unfortunately, will not be participating in the Super Pole shootout for Cheetah. He was having a very good qualifying, so I'm sure with how competitive the times are, he'll be looking forward to the race. As very competitive between the top 10 right now, only a 3-second spread. All these top 10 drivers have a pretty good chance at points, as behind them, very close spread as well, 3 seconds behind all the way to the P18 driver from P. So very tight field we have right now. The back of the field is going to be fun to watch for those lower paying point positions.
CJ improving his time by a good 10 seconds is quite competitive.
CJ, that time improvement was very good, although he had just spun there. CJ with a 107, very competitive time for him, as Kenny sets a 103.3 now in P3 overall right now. Good for him. TDM fan 103.6. As the session is about to expire, can he improve? As we'll jump on board Super Funny Max for the Venturi real quick before the end of the session. Sitting P10 overall right now with a 104.2. That's third out of this group. Having an alright qualifying session, but he sure believes he can improve, I'm certain. As the clock expires here for Group 4, it's looking like right now we're going to see Sang Kaikira, Kenny, Sticky Boy, Riley, and I don't know you in the Super Bowl shootout. But let's see if TDM can break in by, as he is only 100th out of it.
Collides a bit with the wall at the end. Maybe he can get a few tenths from these corners. And does not improve on his time. Super Funny Max also does not improve on the time.
Unfortunate for TDM, just 100th out of Super Bowl shootout. That is very unfortunate on the day for him. A 103.66. Very unfortunate for him. As he is very livid in the chat right now, we can see. As right now, the Super Bowl shootout will be saying Kaikira, Kenny, Sticky Boy, Riley, and I don't know you. As we're going to go ahead and take a quick ad break, and we will come back to you for the Super Bowl shootout here in Rome. Should be a good one.
Agreed.
is how legends are made. This is how legends are made. This is how legends are made.
And welcome back as we are just about to get underway with the Super Pole shootout. As we'll let you know, as right now on the screen is who is in this session. Kaikira with the Nissan team, Riley with Mahindra, Kenny with BMW, Sticky Boy with Neo, I Don't Know You with BMW, and Sang with Nissan, all in the Super Pole shootout. Nissan and BMW looking for a good Super Bowl session to give them a good shot at getting some great points in the race, with Audi being vulnerable this weekend without Dakar. As we've been informed that Kenny is the first driver who will be going out, so just waiting for him to get up. Aaron, what do you think we're going to see out of this Super Bowl position shootout?
I think we're most likely to see Stangstam on top form today, as his time is 2 seconds above anyone else's. But hopefully we get some competition.
And we'll let you know just that Super Pole position, 3 points to the Drivers' Championship. If you get pole, you only get 1 lap. You make a mistake, that's it. 1 lap only. So it'll be interesting to see just what we can see from these drivers, how they can perform. As we will let you know when Kenny is just about to begin his hot lap here around the beautiful Rome City circuit.
He's heading to turn 13 now on the start straight. So within the next 20 seconds we can see him starting his lap.
As a little bit of touch out of there, turn 13, not helping him getting ready for his. As we will now jump on board with Kenny for BMW, getting ready for his hot lap in the Super Pole shootout. Coming through now, just about to cross the line.
And the
as he
lap
crosses
start.
the line into the hard right-hander of turn 1, then left into turn 2, takes that fairly cleanly. Now coming around turns 3 and 4 up the straight. Now into turn 5, going under the Porsche bridge. Now the hard left-hander of turn 6 into another of these straights here in Rome. Coming around turn 8 now, the long left-hander. As taking the hard left-hander of turn 9 now, having a very clean lap so far. Touched the wall there possibly, but didn't seem to lose any time. Takes the right-hander now into the chicanes of turn 11 and 12. Coming up to the start straight as crossing the hairpin of turn 13 now. Very tight, close to the wall there, but makes it cleanly. Coming through turn 15 now into the hardest part of the track, in my opinion, turn 16, now 17, and now on to 18 and 19. And now crosses the line with a 102.6. That's his quickest time overall here in qualifying, and one of his quicker times in overall in practice, I think.
The second, yes, one of the fastest times in practice. The second quickest time of the whole qualifying session.
Excellent time for him. Second overall in the session. As we will jump back to just the track views as Riley's starting his outlap now for the Mahindra decent session he had. As he's going to be looking to put it on a pretty good spot for. As he's going to be looking for a pretty good spot here, the starting grid for the race here in just a couple of hours.
Hopefully the BMW Andretti of Kenny can be moved out of the track. It'll be quite distracting for the other drivers.
Definitely. Ooh, touching the wall at the turn 12 chicane. As now we'll jump on board with Riley for Mahindra. Coming through turn 13, looking for just a competitive time compared to the other drivers. As he didn't have one of the quickest times compared to what Kenny just set and Sang's blistering 101. As Riley has started his lap, he's on to the first straight. Coming to turn 5, into the Porsche bridge now. Left to turn 6. and on to the second long straight here in Rome as he comes through the long left-hander of turn 8, coming into the hard left-hander of turn 9. Having a pretty clean lap so far. How quick is it, though, is the question. Quick right-hander of turn 9 into the turn 11-12 chicane. Takes it cleanly that time. Onto the start straight. Last of the long straights here in Rome. Taking the hairpin of turn 13. A little bit slower than Kenny, it looked like. And lost the back end coming out of it. Into turn 14 now. Into turn 15. Coming up to probably the trickiest part of the track. As turn 16, turn 17. Now turn 18, turn 19, into the line. It's a 104.6, 2 seconds off the pace of Kenny. Not the speed we expected from him. As just the next out will be Kaikira for the Nissan team. So we will narrate your Kaikira's lap here in the Super Bowl session. Kaikira could have a decent lap. And let's just note that Riley's time was not as quick as we saw initially in qualifying. Not good for him. Aaron, what's that scene? What's that? What do you think of that?
I don't think that'll be enough to get within the top 5. I think he'll be in 6th place with that time, as long as the other drivers don't make any mistakes. It's too competitive of Super Bowl to have that time.
Definitely, as Kaikira will be looking for a 103 now. Hopefully 102s for a very competitive time for him for the Nissan team. As coming through the hairpin of turn 13, jump on board with Kaikira for Nissan. As Aaron will walk you through his Super Pole lap.
Okay, so turn 17, 18, going into 19 and 20, or 20 and 21, sorry. And his lap has started. He takes a close line to the turn 1, does a little bit of a slip, but oh, he's struggling around the first 3
Not
corners.
a clean lap he's had.
And his lap is gone, pretty much.
Kaikira.
That's a big F if I've ever seen one. Continues with the lap though, just to put on a show for the audience.
That, and if someone else were to make a mistake, it would he needs to have the best time he can.
With a mistake like that, I'm not sure it'll be good enough. Oh, he's very much struggling around these corners. Into turn 13 he goes.
Can't imagine
Wide line, but has a little bit of drift. His tires look cold. That seems to be a problem, or even overheated. Struggling around these corners. Oh, this is painful. Oh, this is painful to watch.
As Kaikira sets a 113.25.
If you think about it, it's not actually a bad time compared to someone did set a 118. So
It's
at
not
least
the
he
worst
finished it.
time.
It's not the worst time, but it's not the best.
He at least finished the lap, and that's the most important thing. As I Don't Know You is now taking the track for the 4th of our 6 Super Bowl position drivers. Unfortunate lap for the Nissan driver. I can't imagine what is going through his mind. As I Don't Know You for the BMW team, he is a reserve driver, I believe, as I believe Hardman from the Techeetah, who had the very close finish with Kenny after Eindhoven, went for Hardman to move from Techeetah to BMW to join Kenny following Eindhoven, as there was a driver transfer market opening. So, interesting move was made there. However, Hardman, though he appeared in practice, looks like he can't make it for the race today, as their reserve, I Don't Know You, is driving. Coming through now, about to start his lap. Aaron will take you through the lap.
He's looking for at least a sub 104 or sub 113 would be fine. Okay, goes across the start line. Turn 1 takes it a little bit wide, but that's okay. Good turn 2. Has quite a bit of speed into the turn 3 and 4, possibly 5. Wide line turn 5 hits the wall, going in, exiting turn 5. Oh, and has a little bit of a spin, but keeps it on the track.
That slip ain't gonna help his time, but he's still holding it well.
Might be able to still get a P3 time here. As long as he doesn't mess with this corner. Takes it a bit wide, but that might give him extra speed. Good turn 11 and 12. Going to turn 13. See how takes this corner. Takes a close time. We haven't seen that from much drivers, but I guess we don't know the exact telemetry of these cars. So it could be the best line. Turn 16, 17, good. 18, 19, and that is perfectly executed, that last sector. Goes second. That's a very good time. But possibly not good enough to get on to Super Pole today.
104.0, good time for him. He definitely can't get... Kenny's got the 102.6 in first. We'll just see what Sane can do. As I don't know, he's going to be starting at least P2, right? Or at best P2 right now. So very good for him. Currently second out of the 4 have taken the track. BMW, I'm sure, will be happy with that. As the Nissan of Sang is now taking the track, this is likely the favorite for Super Pole today, having a very, very good fastest of every session he's taken part in, setting only driver to set times within the 101s. As jumping on board, saying he's about to cross the line to start his...
I have just realised I can go into a T-cam. Goes across the...
As the Nissan of saying is across the line, coming through turns 1 and 2, a little bit of a touch with the wall, going pretty quick still though. Onto the long straights, going into turn 5 under the Porsche bridge now. He goes. And taking turn 6 now onto the long straights, taking the quick right-hander of turn 7 and 8. And going into turn 9 now, the hard left-hander. Having a clean lap so far other than that beginning, but probably not going to be an issue for him, as taking turn 11, 12 chicane very cleanly on the start straight now, last of the 3 long straights. And taking hairpin of turn 13 very cleanly and quick. Taking turns 14 and 15 now, as he goes into turn 16, 17 chicane, followed by turn 18, 19 chicane. And that's going to finish off his lap. Let's see what he does. Takes it all very cleanly. Little bit of slip there at the end. No problems for him. He sets a 101.8.
Oh my god. And that's after he made the mistake.
That's one of his slower times overall this weekend, but he should be on Super Pole.
Well, still 5 tenths slower than his qualifying time. It's still probably the 3rd fastest time he's set all weekend.
As Stiggy Boy will be the last driver going for a chance at Super Pole for the Neo Formula E team. Had a bit of a surprising session after we didn't see him in practice. We'll see what he can do after he has a little bit of track knowledge under his belt. As Sang with the 108.8, I think is going to get that Super Pole position and those 3 extra points, which will help him and Nissan in the Drivers and Constructors Championships, respectively. As he has 40 points on the year, sitting in P7 in the Drivers Championship. Definitely looking to make some progress on the other drivers. If he were to get the win this weekend, he could potentially jump all the way up into P5, depending on what happens with the drivers ahead of him. As the Neo of Sticky Boy has started his lap, and taking it fairly cleanly so far onto the first long straight, taking turns under the Porsche bridge.
It's interesting. This is only his second race, and he's setting quite competitive times.
That he is, and now that he's got the track knowledge, we'll see just how quick he can go as he's about to take the hard turn, left-hander of turn 9 into the right-hander of turn 10. As now the turn 11-12 chicane right takes it cleanly onto the dirt straight, having a pretty quick lap, very clean. As he takes the hairpin of 13 a little bit slowly, coming into turn 14, left 15, and about to entering the last the double chicane here at the end. Way down there. That's gonna hurt his time. He was on for a great lap as he sets a 103.9, third place in the session. So now we have our grid for the race later on in just an hour or so. As Sang will be starting on pole with a 101.8. He gets the 3 extra points to his name for Nissan. Very good placement for him. Kenny in the BMW on second with a 102.6. Could be on for a race win if he stays consistent. Sticky Boy for Neo, who we just watched, with a 103.9. As I Don't Know You with a 104.0 for BMW starting P4. Good session for BMW. Riley starting on P5, 104.6 for the Mahindra driver. Good for him. As Kaikira, after that unfortunate lap with the 113.2, starts P6 for Nissan. Not what Nissan was looking for. As we're going to go to a quick ad break now, and we'll come back with looks like some interviews for you. We'll be right back. And welcome back, everyone, here to Rome, the site of this weekend's E-Prix, which is about to, the race will be in just under an hour, it looks like, as we are joined by Lenore of Envision Racing and pole sitter Sang for Nissan, as we are going to get some interviews real quick. So, Aaron, why don't you start by interviewing Lenore for us?
Yeah, sure. Lenore, how are you doing today?
Good. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. So how's the season been going for you so far?
It's been good and bad in the same way. We scored points and yeah.
That's good. Where are you in the championship right now?
Currently six.
Sorry, I'm having mic difficulties. Slayer, if you can take over.
No worries. So, Lenore, it looks like you've had a fairly decent season so far. Looks like you were not able to make this weekend's qualifying session, so I don't think you'll be able to participate in the race. What do you think your team's going to be able to do this weekend? Do you expect them to get some decent points?
Yeah, I expect them to get some decent points. For sure. Riley will get points, and maybe if we do a good race, we will probably get both cars into the points, or we have to decide on that.
Now, Envision is sitting P7 in the Constructors' Championship, but very close to all the way to P4 with only 5 points behind Panis. Do you think you guys can get up into P4 after a good result this weekend?
Uh, well, that's to be decided after the race, but I'm sure we will catch up to them.
Definitely. And one final question for you. What do you think? What's your goal for this season? What do you expect for the end of this season for you? How do you expect it to go?
I'm expecting to go good. Since we are sitting like eight in the constructors, I hope we get into a better position. But for now, we just wait till the season ends, and that's how it goes.
Definitely. That's all you can do. Well, thank you for joining us, and good luck to you the rest of the season.
Yep. Thank you. Bye.
And looks like Pole Sitter Sang is having some technical difficulties. We'll get that interview in just a moment when we are able to. And this session, very good session we saw so far today. The qualifying session saw some very competitive times, very close times, and we're looking for a good race here in a couple hours. As the issues have been resolved, we are now joined by the pole sitter Sang for Nissan. How are you doing today?
I'm great, man. Thank you. What about you?
I am good, thanks for asking. So, you've been setting the quickest times all weekend for the sessions for Nissan. What do you think? Do you think you're going to continue that here in the race?
Well, it's certainly what I hope, man. I'm blistering with happiness right now, man. I can't.
Definitely being quickest overall in every session without the risk of any of the other drivers, such as Dakar, with the other quick times coming in. Looks like you're going to be way out in front for the race, but some competitive times behind you. Who's a driver you think you might have to worry about in the race who could catch up?
I might say Kaikera. He's my teammate. I know he's really, really fast when it comes to race pace. So definitely got to look out for him.
I think that's a reasonable comparison. So, anyways, you are the pole sitter today. You're getting 3 additional points to your name in the Drivers' Championship. How do you think that's going to go for you? Do you think you're going to be able to move up after this race, expecting a good result?
Well, I didn't. I joined not so long ago, go upwards through the season, so I advanced.
Definitely. Looks like you're sitting P7 in the Drivers' Championship, but a good result this weekend could put you up into potentially P5, depending on how things go for the drivers ahead of you. So, very good, very good potential you've got there for moving up in the championship.
Yep, thank you.
So, how do you feel after having that blistering qualifying session over 8 tenths ahead of the next driver? How does that make you feel to just be that far ahead?
Oh, I can't explain it. It feels amazing, you know, really proving my pace out there. I had a scrappy last race, so I really want to prove myself to.
Definitely. Well, that's all the time we have. So thank you for joining us, and good luck here in the race in just a little.
Thank
And that's gonna do it for us here at BBC. That's your qualifying session is the grid is now set for the race in just under an hour. It looks like here in Rome. Excellent race we have lined up for you, and we're excited to present it here in just about 40 minutes. We'll see you in a bit, lads, and thank you for joining us here at BBC. I've been Slayer, my partner's been Aaron, and we will see you shortly for the race here in Rome.